All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I say this every time, but it's really true in this case. We have an extremely special episode. We have a titan of the sales industry in-house with us today, Chuck Thokey. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get going, for anyone who's not aware, can you give us a little bit of background on yourself before we dive into the rest of this?
Thanks, Justice. Thanks, everybody. So I own Top Rep. Was the co-founder, and so Jim Johnson and I founded Top Rep. But a little bit about me is I kind of grew into this industry out of necessity, and I was an aerospace engineer. Got kind of thrown out with a big tragedy back in 9/11, and got into sales. But long story short, landed up in a company called Bathfitter. Did extremely well and took that very widespread nationwide. And then had a company called Able and Mr. Roof say, hey, we want you to do what you've done for Bathfitter. And so we were able to take that to over 220 million and kind of left and really wanted to help other companies out. To keep this short, really wanted to bring other companies into that type of success, which we've done, hundreds and hundreds of times. And so with Top Rep, we really want to focus in on the company itself. And we, as a sales organization, we deal with all of your in-home service-based organizations for home improvement. We're not just going to go in and help anybody that's in sales. We are strictly home improvement. And about 80% of our clients are roofers. So we have hundreds and hundreds of roofers all over the United States and Canada that come to us for not only training, but coaching. And most people say, hey, we want you to come in and train our reps. But that is actually one of the least things that we do. We work with the sales management and really help them to understand how to make that sustainable rather than me coming in, training everybody, and all my training leaves with me. So that's really what we do is we really help the people understand how to grow their organization through their sales team and through the rest of the organization.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. I like that you put the focus on the business itself and not just the individuals or the sales team. Because hey, what if their sales team decides to walk out the door? Now all of your training has gone with them. And then before we go too much farther, I want to address the rather small elephant in the room. I don't know how this keeps happening. Mike, you're on every single one of these webinars. We don't give you the link. We don't invite you. You're just here. What do you do at ROOFLE and why are you here?
So I am the chief revenue officer here at ROOFLE, and I'm such a fanboy when I see people that I'm like, oh, I want to be there too. And then somebody just left the bathroom door unlocked. And so I actually literally just came through the plumbing there. And I will continually show up on these as long as you put people on here that I enjoy.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm going to start having to filter my guests a little bit better. All right. Now, I want to start with a question that I asked you, Chuck, when we first started talking about getting you on this episode. And it was, what did you think of ROOFLE when you first heard about us? And was that a positive thought or not? Give us a little bit of background there.
I'm going to say it. It was not a positive thought. When you're in sales, me and Mike were just talking with somebody and again, another titan in sales, and you throw this into our face. And the first thing we think is you can't do this. You can't just give somebody a price and then expect that you can still keep talking. And so when I first heard of ROOFLE, I'm like, man, this breaks all the rules. It just can't happen until, you start to break down the purpose. But yeah, it was at first was not a fan of ROOFLE.
Man, I love that. I wanted to start with that because it's the perfect, what are you doing on our episode then? You didn't believe in us. What are we doing here? And I think Mike has some points to drive that home. Take her away,
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, you call me the elephant in the room, but let's say the elephant in the room. Like we have as roofing contractors, and I've been doing this for a long, long time, and you have too. We have been coached for decades to not surrender our price until we have had the opportunity to sit in the home and very clearly and thoroughly give all of our value proposition and everything that has to do with what we're doing before we ever give them the price. Now, suddenly you're on our show going, guys, times are changing. it's okay to have a transparent pricing on your website. So what are we to see? What changed and what do you see with the homeowners now having access to a price on a contractor's website before entering into that discussion in sales?
So here's what my take is on this, is that yes, does this break all the rules? It does. And this is the time to break all the rules. Everybody says that, is it time for this? We have, and as Able and some of these bigger organizations, we spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, trying to figure out how can we sell roofing through the internet. And it just wasn't the time. It wasn't that we found out that it didn't work. We just knew it wasn't the time. Now is the time. Now, does that mean that we need to do away with all sales reps? That's not the case. We now understand there's a certain amount of buyers that want to buy through the internet. And so even though this breaks all the rules, it really does. It really takes sales to a different level. It's just not a whole new level. It's just a different level. And if you're not looking at this as an opportunity as a lead gen, as an opportunity to get data, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that is the purpose for this. Do you think that you're going to use ROOFLE and everybody's just going to start clicking buy now, buy now, buy now? This isn't Amazon, And so what they're looking for is they just want that I just want that price. I just want that price. Well, if your ticket in the door is also the way for you to get data, which every organization that moves fast knows that the most important thing that they have is data. They have names and numbers that are always coming in. And if I can have more people in my inside sales office and less people on the outside sales office, that I can keep more control over the entire sales process itself.
Yeah, we were just actually on a podcast or a webinar last week with Roofer Contractor Magazine and roofingcontractor.com, who just did this fascinating study about homeowners and what do they expect from their online experience, but also how do they make decisions. And so let me before we leave the customer and the homeowner conversation. So we discussed this a little bit too. When homeowners are feeling like how they make these decisions, and the contractors are fearful for one very simple thing. Oh, so now you're leading with your price. And yet that's not really what the data says. And if you are leading with the price, like legitimately and 100% leading with your price, then you've messed up with your sales proposition on your online and virtual presence, right? Yeah. So homeowners are seeing your About Us page, your value proposition that are, your awards, the manufacturing and all of the awards that you have, and your trucks and your people and everything. You're giving a very robust picture of who you are as a company before the homeowner actually starts in that process of getting a price from you. And the only way they're getting a price is giving you their contact information and then that follow-up. So are you really, truly, when you're talking about an online situation like this and a process like this, are you really leading with price? How do you view that in a lead generation sense?
So when you're exactly right. They will probably look at the rest of the site, or maybe they won't. It's really up to the person that gets on your website. They see the opportunity that it's the curiosity that kills the cat, as we say. Like, I can get a price right here. Well, yeah, I want to get that price. And they get the opportunity to get that price. What do they have to do in order to get that price? They have to give their address, well, obviously, because you can't get a quote unless you give them your address. They have to give their information, their name, and most likely an email address and phone number to be able to get it. It's a give to get. Well, now that they have that price, it's enticing, because now this is like a third party price. It's not a sales rep sitting in front of them and they're wondering, can I trust this person? They can also, what I like when you have this type of presence, what type of online presence do you have? What type of research can that person do on your company? And there's several things to do on this. Is you can let them know that, hey, there's a video that explains how this works, because they're wondering, like, really, I can just order it right here. And so you give them the information that they want, because now they have their price. Give them the way to research who you are as a company so that they can get the trust that they need. There's a reason why people buy from Amazon. And this is what I've heard so many times is, I just need to be Amazon. You'll never be Amazon. Because here's what happens is people will find a product online. I do this myself. I will not buy anything online unless it's through Amazon. Well, now I can tell you that you're not Amazon. And so it's not like I like that price, I'm going to go and see if Amazon can do it. The reason why they go to Amazon is because of trust. They know that if something goes wrong, I can return it. If something goes wrong, I'll get a refund. No matter what, I'm made whole. How can you do that? Through information. And then, like, I love about the way that you guys do things is they can get with a pro. I heard Travis today says, it doesn't say, do you want to talk to sales? Nobody wants to talk to sales, but they do want to talk to a pro.
Yep.
And so you give them that opportunity. They can buy, which they still can't buy because we want to have that meeting with them, or they can talk to a pro. But again, they have the options. They haven't quite bought in yet. But they like the price. They like the fact that I don't have to negotiate with anybody right here. It's right there. I know exactly what the payment's going to be. It's got everything for them. But again, the most important thing that you have is their data.
Yeah. And you have kind of a now and not yet kind of a dynamic that's going on within this process right now, because you do have older generations, and I consider myself in that older generation, and a lot of my generation still wants to see people and interact with people and really have that even the referral basis. But then you get not too much younger than me, and now you've got people who have been conditioned to make buying decisions very differently. They trust computers, they trust themselves more than they trust a salesperson, which is again why we don't direct people to a salesperson, we direct people to a pro. And so there's a now and not yet that we're, even as we mentor our subscribers into building out a different type of SOP for their business, we're not doing wholesale changes. We're not saying stop doing what you used to do, now do it this way. It's actually having a more well-rounded approach to your business, really having the ability to put yourself in the shoes of your customers and doing business with them in the way that they desire to have business done with them.
Yes.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I like that it also kind of sets a standard for that consumer and for what their expectations are for the rest of the market. And that if they run into somebody else who, for lack of a better term, in their eyes as a consumer, is withholding that price from them, they can go, well, I got a ballpark price already. I know a rough idea. You can't give me that. I just want a rough idea. I don't know if I'm ready to move forward with this yet. I mean, the modern consumer, the same way that we buy cars, is we go and look it up. We look up all the different dealerships. We look up who has the product and the right specifications before we ever walk in, because if you get stuck with a car salesperson, well, that's your entire Saturday, potentially your Sunday too, if you can't get everything squared away. So yeah, you're damn right. I'm going to do all the research up front, and I'm going to go to see a single vehicle. I'm not going to go and test drive 4 different vehicles. I'm going to do the single vehicle, and then I'm going to proceed. Or if I can, I'm going to get it from Carvana and have it delivered, because I'm not dealing with a person anyway. But that kind of setting that standard for the rest of the market and for that consumer moving forward, they might go get other quotes, but hey, you know what? You were upfront from the very beginning, and you were consistent throughout the process for me.
And I love how you use that car analogy, because we just bought a car and I did my research, but I didn't buy the cheapest thing I found. I bought the one that fit me fit me most, and the one that if that was that car that I wanted for not even the price I was willing to pay. I mean, I knew that I wanted a certain car, and that's what it was. That's where it's at. I called them, said, hey, do you guys still have it? And they're like, yeah, it's still right here in the showroom. So, I went out, I knew I was going to buy. As long as that sales rep didn't screw up, I was buying. And it was probably the fastest thing. Within 15 minutes after test driving the thing, I knew I was going to buy it before I test drove it. But, coming back, I mean, it was the easiest sale. And even the guy said that. I says, it's the easiest sale because I made the decision to buy before I ever got here.
Yeah. And I think that's probably very crucial because most customers have a need, and really, they're coming to your website and getting a price. And I'm going to switch gears up here a little bit. In an in-home consultation, how would the conversation differ for a sales rep when engaging with a customer who's already seen pricing information compared to a customer who hasn't?
This is my favorite part of this whole thing is when a sales rep goes out. Again, it is the easiest conversation to have. I even threw a Facebook thing out there. I have a client that's using ROOFLE right now, and he says, when I'm in the house, how do I close this down? I says, how do you not close it down? I mean, I have another client that they actually, before they come out, they will run your credit. I said, how do you not sell when you already know that you've run their credit? They are able to finance. They allowed you to run their credit. I mean, how do you not sell that job? So I'm going to flip it over to ROOFLE when they know your price, and I'm going to lead in and say, hey, so what's so cool about how we do things is you already know the price of the job. So one thing that I'm not going to hear at the end of this is that it's too expensive. Am I right? And that homeowner knows that you just took the wind right out of their sails. I mean, you wouldn't have me out here if you thought that the price was too expensive. And we have to be somewhat bold in the house when we say that, and they'll laugh. And they said these are some of the easiest sales we've ever made. And what happened is that homeowner went onto their website, they filled out their information, they got their price, and they jumped off. What happened was the phone room made the phone call, and they're like, yeah, we just didn't have a whole lot of time to talk to anybody, but we got our price, which is great. And that phone room talked them into having that in-home presentation and said, because of the fact you've already gotten most of the information that you need, this is going to be a very quick process when they come out. We're just sending a tech to come out, verify the measurements, and to go through everything with you. What they didn't say is that tech is a sales rep. And I'm not saying that we're lying. I mean, we're sending someone out to verify what's there, and so that we can give them and let them know that everything that they are looking at is absolutely what the price that they're going to be paying for this. Now, the flip side of this is, okay, so now they have a price, and this company says, hey, one thing that we get a lot is, the price was this and now it's this. Well, it's a different product. You got the price for the product that you wanted, and all I'm doing is showing you a better and a best that is also available to you. I'm not saying that that's what you need. That's up to you.
That's such an excellent way to put it. I mean, it encapsulates exactly what we envision as the process for this, right? The consumer gets the information, the critical piece that they need to feel comfortable, a nice, current, almost immediate phone call goes out to kind of encourage them and move them down that pipeline a little farther, making sure that, hey, we didn't miss anything. Is there a chimney that we didn't pick up? Is there a skylight that we didn't pick up? I can get all that clarified for you. Nobody needs to be at your house for that. Last thing that we're going to do, we're just going to want to make sure that we didn't miss anything. We are going to send a roofing professional out there to make sure that there's nothing that we missed. We've got all the details in line, and then we're good to go. How does that sound? It can be nice and quick because, hey, we already know about the majority of it. We're just going to check, make sure there was nothing that was missed, and then you're good to go. And that's how we envision this process rolling. And ideally, if they need financing, they're already pre-approved. They already know what their monthly payments would be. They're set up to they're waiting for you to show up and get a yes. They're absolutely waiting to give you that yes, because they don't want to start this process over with somebody else. And they certainly don't want to start this process over with somebody who's not going to tell them anything about their pricing until they're 30 minutes into a conversation in their living room.
Right. Something else I want to bring up is, what's the value proposition you're bringing that homeowner? What is it? What's in it for them? And if you have certain guarantees that your company can provide, one of the guarantees that we have really pushed some of our clients that are using ROOFLE is like a worry-free guarantee of, you know, if even on the fact that we may have to have change orders because we're not there, right? Well, one thing that we are going to give you is any change order up to $5,000 on us. Now, I know people out there like, how the heck do you do that? Well, it's the same way that you operate with your financing. You know, if you look at how many change orders you feel that you're going to be giving on these jobs, and then you take that divided by all of your customers, not just the customers that you think you're going to have change orders on, by all of your customers, you're going to end up right around maybe $400 or $500 a customer. So you take that, you add that into every job, and that goes into an escrow account. And so now that money goes into that escrow account for any time that you actually have to have a change order, because we have to remove and replace or remove and reinstall a satellite. We have to flash a chimney that we didn't see. You know, it's not like big things usually. And when we come back and these homeowners are like, this is fantastic. You know, they don't have to worry about these big change orders.
Mhm.
No
Did
change orders.
Did you see that, Jonathan Bros? No change orders. Chuck has lost his ever-loving mind. But again, here's the thing, and this is, I think, one of the things that it's harder. Again, I'm pointing my fingers at myself. It's harder for me and my generation to think of these in terms of when we've been taught and trained for so long to really help homeowners understand the warranty and how long we've been in business and who we are, and being able to have those conversations. And yet, as we're doing business with younger generations, they truly will pay a premium for their experience with your customer, with your company. So in other words, how easy are you to do business with? You will be getting the business. And the number of times I'm called and given these scenarios where the ROOFLE subscriber has actually a higher price. They're certainly not lower. Their online price is higher because they are so easy to do business with. The people who want to do business in that manner are actually paying more for the experience and not taking up time out of their day and putting a premium price on that, even just as much or more so than quality products, long warranty, doing business with a company that's been in business forever, those kind of things.
Yeah, I would have to say I'm probably like the poster child for our type of customer, in that I want to find all the information first. I don't want to deal with a sales rep. I'll pay 10% more for a meal if I can get a guarantee that the waiter's not going to harass me at all besides to get my order. I'll pay 10% more for a car if I know that the process at the dealership is going to be simple and straightforward and I'm not going to spend half my day there. I'll pay 10% more for just about any service if I have a guarantee that it's hassle-free. If you're going to take the stress out of it, if you're going to take steps out of it, if you're going to take anything off my plate that I have to worry about, I am absolutely willing to pay more for that. And I know that it's not just a me thing. I know it's more of a generational thing. I know it's part of how I grew up and stuff, but it's a very real thing. Making yourself easy and comfortable and pleasant to do business with goes miles and miles. I mean, at this point, I'm not going to do business with somebody who doesn't have a warranty. I wouldn't even cross my mind. It is my assumption. Baseline is you've got an excellent warranty. Baseline is the normal standard stuff. I don't need to worry about that because you're a professional, top of the line business that I'm here to work with, and I can trust all of that stuff. That's part of Chuck, like you said, creating that environment on your website, creating that brick and mortar feel of your website, of walking in and knowing you've got a finance page. I know I can go see all the finance options and there's information there. You have your products page, you have a blog page, so I can even figure out, do I need my roof replaced? How often do I need my roof replaced? How much value is it adding to my home? Those type of things that I would expect out of a top of line business should all be there and present and making me feel like, great, all those worries are gone. That's great. I don't have to have that conversation. I don't need the sales rep to tell me that. Saw it on your website. Good. Skip that. That's exactly what we're looking for. And that's what a lot of modern consumers are looking for. Ease of doing business.
Yeah. I think we also have to kind of think of the consumers that we're not as well. So think about the people who don't want to have somebody come into their home because they live alone. They don't want to have anybody maybe, that is untrusting potentially in their home in a situation. So always, when I'm talking to contractors, is think about the people who are not you, and think about the potential that you're leaving out there based on not giving that transparency.
Yes. Yes. And bring the organization to them. If they want to know a little bit about you, they can click on the find out more information about how this works. And now John is a trip.
I know, right? Like, seriously.
But make sure that they can click on something and they get to see the brick and mortar. They get to see the team. And this all has to be done within 30 seconds. A video, it's 30, maybe 45 seconds, because that's all the attention they're going to give you. But make them understand we're local. Make them understand that we're not just a digital company, that we're giving you what you want. A hands-free, don't have to negotiate. Here's everything you need, and then be able to turn that over to them so that they understand exactly who we are, so that we can come out. And when we do come out, that we can send them another video of, this is the guy that's coming out. I'm Chuck. I'm going to be your tech for tomorrow. I can't wait to get there. When I get there, this is what you can expect from me. And it's a little bit faster. It gives them the ability to see kind of an upfront feel as to what to expect when expecting.
So let me piggyback on that a little bit, because the time that I've known you and I've heard you speak on many different occasions, I was at Top Rep. A lot of what you do is scripting. You have a high value on scripting and helping, whether it's from, your call centers and appointment setters all the way to your salespeople. How important, and maybe at what points in the lead nurture, is scripting really important to really dial in on what your message is and being clear about that?
Scripting is one of the most important parts of this. Whether it's the script of the person on the phone, on the Zoom call, if we can close this over the Zoom, and the scripting of the person that comes out. Remember that we're there to get the trust of the homeowner, and the only way to do that is to understand what needs to be said. If somebody's having a bad day, what's about to come out of their mouth is probably not going to be very pleasant. They're going to be short. They're not going to say it with a smile. We have to do our job, whether we're the person on the phone, person on Zoom, or the salesman or the tech that actually comes out.
Awesome. And now I want to get, since we've got you here, Chuck, I do want to get one last piece of wisdom for you. I know we're kind of running up on our time, and I know your time is very valuable. So as we're looking forward in kind of the future of home improvement sales and the future of the home improvement industry, is there anything, if you were to kind of distill your knowledge down into either a couple of points or a guiding mantra, or just kind of the future of sales in general, both online and offline, is there anything that you can leave us with, any little bit of wisdom you can give us there?
Here's what I will tell you is that the in-home sale will not go away. I don't care how big this gets, because what we're doing is we're giving the public what the public wants. There are certain people that never want to see anybody. They want to be able to buy it. There's some people that are just curious. But here, this is why ROOFLE is such a big tool for so many people, is whether we're going to use it to sell over the internet, use it for our canvassers, use it for our sales reps. You can use ROOFLE for just about anything. Let me give you this example. Let's say that in the middle of a storm, you're the 10th person to come up to the door. Absolutely. That's why I'm here. And you give them a flyer and say, you know what? That will explain everything that you need. And I understand. And you can't sell yourself on the roof, because 3 people have already been on the roof. They're so confused, and say, this is what you actually need. And I'm sure that one of the big things that you're wanting from us is a price, right? You're wanting to get an estimate. Yes, that will give you everything that you need right there. Now, remember what happens when they take a picture of that QR code and gets their estimate, if you will. For one, It's going to be the estimate that they've been wanting, because no one else will actually get it to them. They want to explain how the insurance company, we're going to negotiate with your insurance company. And I love how most of these companies do it. We're going to maximize your insurance claim. You just told the homeowner that I'm going to do everything I can to maximize my paycheck. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I want to let them know that this right here is our estimate. And when they do that, now our inside sales team can take over and put you back in the house. You know, it's the trust is now there because we gave them what they want. We also guided them to a website that explained how trustworthy we are and how big we are and how they are going to be able to get to know who we are. And now they're putting me back in the house. I'm the one that gave them the flyer, but they're putting me back in the house so that I don't have any competition. They chose us because we gave them what they wanted. You know, if you're being pushed off you show up and they're like, hey, we don't want anything. I'm not here to get, I'm just giving you this. That's it. Now, if they allow you to talk, you can put that behind your back and talk your way up on the roof. That's fine. But if you're being kicked out, give them the flyer. It still talks because it gives them what they want. And there's so many different things that you can do with ROOFLE. And what we find in a lot of organizations, I'm like, hey, let me explain ROOFLE. Oh, no, we already own it. How often do you use it? Oh, we don't. I'm like, what? You know, there's so many uses for it, and they just don't understand it. And once we help them to understand it, the whole world opens up to them.
There's a couple of questions here, but I do want to finalize that one. I like the way, because you keep saying, give homeowners what they want, give homeowners what they want. And I like the way that Travis talks about this, our CEO, because when he talks about it in terms of they want control of the buying process again. And so it's not just about the price, and kind of going back to what Justice was saying, I'll pay 10% more if it doesn't cost me a lot of time, 10% more of this. It doesn't mean that he doesn't, or that we don't appreciate a good warranty, a good company, a reputable. We look at reviews, we look at the About Us page, we look at the values process of entirety. But you think about all of those things, as a consumer, I'm in control of my buying decision, whereas that trust is being created because you're giving them control of the entire process when you're being more transparent with the price. So I kind of wanted to say that, just because it's not, the homeowner doesn't just want the price because that's what makes their decision. They want to be in control of the entire sales process and being able to make that decision that's wise for them.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, can't say it any better than that.
Perfect. Let's leave it at that, if that's okay, unless somebody has something really critical to add, because I do want to open it up to two viewers for a Q&A. We have a couple of questions put in here already. People, please, we have Chuck Thokey on here, kind of a once in a blue moon opportunity for many folks. Throw your questions in, whatever it has to do with either us or in-home sales, anything like that. Throw us your questions. We're going to start off with Jonathan Broach, who's been extremely active, kind of the star of the show over here. Do you think that showing your price upfront gives your competitor an advantage over your customer?
So I'm gonna put this to bed really fast. When you have the ability to put your price up, all that does is get you in the door. And it's really dependent on the competitor. Now, the competitor is they're going to come out and they're going to hide their price, which, you know, as in sales, we teach that you're going to have to hide your price. But again, that price, that upfront and that transparent price also wins you a lot of trust. Like, hey, I'm showing you my price. Now, when I'm out there and I get the opportunity to pitch as well, remember that they brought me out because of my price. I mean, if there's an opportunity to sell, that's one of them. And again, I'm going to let them know, hey, one of the first things that I want to cover right now is the fact that I want to thank you for having us out. It looks and appears that you've already gotten a price from us. Yes. And the fact that you've had me out, it appears that that's a favorable price. One thing I'm not going to hear later is that the price is too much. That's fantastic. You know, and then let's get started. You know, if there is any way of killing an objection, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, another way to say that is, yeah, if you'd like to leave and leave the door open and help your competitor come in behind you, okay, yeah, that might be an advantage for your competitor. But we're saying you should be locking that down. Your competitor probably shouldn't have even an ability to get to your customer at that point. You've literally gave them everything. You know, what is stopping you from closing that sale that even opens the door for the competitor to come in? Oops. I just
All
knocked over
hands
my
on deck
coffee.
there, Mike.
Yeah, just knocked over my coffee.
Yeah, I like that it puts your competitor on notice, really, because if they come and if they send a door knocker out and your same customer who's gotten a price out of you gets somebody knocking on the door, great. Can you give me a ballpark price? Is it going to be over 25K? Is it going to be under 25K? Do you know? You can't tell me that. Somebody else did. You really don't have any idea. It kind of plants that seed in the customer's mind that this exists, the technology exists, people can get ballpark prices pretty easily, really. And it puts that kind of in that customer's mind. So you might have somebody come in after and try to lowball, but if they're holding out until the very end on a customer who already knows a ballpark price for their house, maybe your inside sales team has already called them. Maybe they've had that developed even a little bit further. And your inside sales team knows about the chimney, knows about the skylight or what have you. And they're even a step farther. It might not be in every case the kind of like perfect setup like that, but it does plant a seed in your consumer's mind that
Here's
is
two
out there.
things is, for one, your competitor doesn't know that they've gotten a bid already from you, even just through the internet. The other thing is having a client that they had a competitor where they would say, hey, if you want a competitive price, just go to this website and they will go ahead and they'll give you a price. Here's the thing that competitor didn't know. Now we have that homeowner's name, address, phone number, and they call them immediately. So if you're going to get this, you have to be on it. You have to call them immediately. They were in the house when that was happening, and we just said, hey, here's the only thing that we asked. The fact that you asked us for this is that we asked you not to buy anything right now. Really put the numbers on the table. And that guy called my client and was totally upset. I'm like, you tried to use our website to sell a job. You don't think that we're going to do whatever we need to get you out of the house? I mean, there's a way of doing this. And I mean, they were like, hey, this is huge. We wish all of our competitors would do this. Now we have names, address, and phone numbers of people that are in the middle of buying a roof. That couldn't be a better lead.
I like that. Do you see Home Depot being the first to market as the e-commerce solution?
You know what? I could care less. I mean, if they do, then that just makes ROOFLE that much bigger inside of our industry. If they if they decide that they're going to start going to consumers, then we can do the same thing. But remember that they're only going to gather about 20% of what's going to happen inside the United States. Only so many people trust Home Depot. They've done it with Home Pro. They've done it before and it didn't work, and it's funny because Home Depot is a client of mine, but I mean, it happens, they're only going to take it so far. They're not going to take it as far as we can.
Yeah, I'm so passionate about that question too, because that's why we exist is to empower the local contractor to be able to compete in that virtual space before the Home Depots of the world ever get to it and try to own it themselves. And, you have so much ability to be that local contractor, and not just the local, but with really robust technology to be able to own that space. And it's going to be so hard for that to be taken from you. And you've got great people around you, helping as well. The Joseph Hughes Be 5 Mile Famous. Do you think, yes, the orange is a huge brand. I mean, that's a huge advantage for a multi-billion-dollar company like that. But when you are engaging in your community, using technology like ROOFLE, but you're owning that virtual space, it's going to be hard for a faceless organization such as a Home Depot or like a Directory or IKEA, these different companies that are trying to get into this e-commerce space. It's going to be hard for them to take that space from you once you've established it.
I want to round this out by letting everybody know, and we're going to go back to the beginning on this, is that ROOFLE is one of the best lead magnets available in the market today. Not just because I'm on this webinar. I've said this many times. I've even posted it on social media, that you couldn't get a better lead magnet. If I were to tell you that the whole adage of curiosity kills the cat, what are they curious about? How much it's going to cost them. So give it to them. Give them what they want. It's like setting the trap. It's out there, and as soon as they reach in for it, it bites them, and all of a sudden you have their information. You have everything you need. Now we can reach out. This is somebody that obviously wants a roof. They're interested enough to get a price on the roof, no matter why they're doing it. Now you have their information. The most valuable thing you can have as a business is data. Use the data. Now, if you have a bunch of data, like a lot of organizations, you don't do anything with it, well, that's garbage in, garbage out. But that's a different discussion.
I like that. It is a net for data. It is a great net to grab up a bunch of data, because that's what we harp on that all the time is, hey, you get even just a lead that's only an address. They don't give you the rest of their contact info. Direct mailer. Send that whole neighborhood a bunch of flyers with QR codes,
That's it.
There's always an opportunity in that data. All right. Do we have any other questions, folks? Now or forever hold your peace. Get your questions in. Throw them before a guru. Anybody else on this call want to throw anything else in?
I was just going to mention too, like the beginning of the conversation, Chuck, you said when you first heard of ROOFLE, and based on that last point of saying that we're one of the best lead magnets, like that's pretty explosive. And that's we're honored to be a part of that. But it's one of those things that we're seeing it all the time. A lot of people who didn't necessarily believe in it or think that it was going to happen. And now here we are. It's fruition. And it's one of these, it's something that works. We did have one question, and it's unfortunate that Mike unfortunately dropped off on this one, but
I'm really bummed about it.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, yay, he's back.
So the last question from Jonathan is ROOFLE still searching for a new CRO? Suppose he saw the new job posting on Glassdoor and he'd like to apply. So we'll let
Glassdoor.
I am like a disease. I'm harder to get rid of than syphilis.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks. Hey, maybe this is why you keep getting banned from Facebook, man. Maybe you should chill out a little bit on things you compare yourself to, Mike.
I hear you got syphilis.
Yeah. Last one that we've got in here is ROOFLE working on the sales proposals portion. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are actively working on that, as well as a couple other new tools, a couple other new features, and always new integrations. So it's like the weather in the South. If there's not a feature that sells you yet, hold your breath, give us a little bit of time, and it's going to change. Yeah, I promise. We got a lot of good stuff coming. Great. Guys, we'll call it at that. Mike, we don't need to start there. We'll call it.
No, we do. We have to start here. We have to, like Blueberry Dunker Donuts and potato chips, high value in-home retail sales, and ROOFLE are like a match made in heaven.
That's right.
Yeah, if you don't trust us, just go to a gas station in Iowa and pick up a bag today, apparently.
And don't miss Mike's live later today while he taste tests them.
I'm too scared.
Yeah. Get ready for that. Oh, man. Chuck, thank you so much, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. We really appreciate your time and coming on and all of the great advice. I mean, I'm going to be taking this and using it in my calls with our customers on a regular basis. So thank you very much for that. Thanks for joining us. We'd love to have you again. Mike, please don't come back. Courtney, thank you so much. Everybody, have a great day. Tune in for the next one. We'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thanks.